Hello everyone and welcome to the Dragon Code. In this video we are going to look at functions in C++. So let's start. Functions are used to separate code into modules. It is actually a block of code that is executed when it is called. So it can be reused as many times as you want. Functions in C++ are very similar to functions in math. In math function you have input that goes into function and you have output of that function. Let's see for how it works for this function f of x is equal to x squared plus 2. So when input is 5, it is equal to output is 5 squared, which is 25, plus 2 is 27. When input is 6, when x is 6, it is 6 squared, which is 36, plus 2 is 38, and so on. There are three parts of function: declaration, definition, and function call. First, we will look at function declaration and definition. To declare function, you need to specify return type, function name, and you can add input parameters, but it is optional. Only brackets are required. And then inside function definition, you specify what will that function do. In this case, this function will return sum of two input parameters. And then you can call that function. You call that function by typing its name, brackets, and in brackets you put input parameters if you have them. And then you just add semicolon. Because this function returns value, you can store that value in variable, but you can also print it. And there are also void functions. That functions don't return any value. So when you call this function hello, it will just print hello world, but it will not return any value. As you saw from previous videos, each program in C++ must have main function. Those functions that we are going to declare now are called user-defined functions. Let's now try functions in Visual Studio. So I will first declare function that adds two numbers. So I specify return type it is integer, function name it is sum, and I have two parameters, x and y. In function definition, it will return sum of those two parameters, of those two numbers. Now I will call that function and I will print return value of that function. I will pass 20 and 40. And now let's run this code. As you can see, return value is 60. I can reuse this function. I will just first add here new line. And I can add different numbers. Let's run this code. As you can see, these are sums of those numbers, and this is beauty of functions because you write code once and you can reuse it as many times as you want with different parameters. You have to pass parameters in function call if function has parameters. So if I don't pass parameters here and try to run this code, I will get error because I'm missing parameters. But there is a way to avoid passing parameters although function has them. And those parameters are called default parameters. So in function definition, you specify default value of those parameters. So default value, I will specify the default value for x is 6 and for y is 4. And let's now run this code. As you can see, this is 10. For when I call this function third time, it is 10, although I didn't pass parameters in function call, but I have default parameters. So in case you don't pass parameters, these values will be used, 6 and 4. And when you pass parameters, these default values will be overridden. Let's now try void functions. So to declare void function, I need to specify type void. I will name it hello. And I will, in function definition, I will print hello world. Let's call this hello function. I don't need to print hello world because in this function it will execute that. Let's run this code. As you can see, hello world is printed. I can also have parameters in void functions. So here I will also print name that is passed, and I will pass name John. And let's run this code. As you can see, it is printed hello world and parameter that I passed. So it is hello world John. You can also pass variables as input parameters. I will declare another function called number, and here I will have one input parameter x, and I will return that parameter x. And here I will declare num variable, and I will assign it value of 10, and I will print this function number, and I will pass here variable. As you can see, 10 is printed, so you can also pass variables in function. Here I pass variable by value, but you can also pass value by reference. You will need that when you want to change variable's value. And to do that, you will need to use ampersand here. And because I want to change variable's value, I will use void function, because I don't need to return any value. I just need to change value of the variable. So whatever the value of variable it is, I will increase it by 5. And let's first print value of variable before passing it to the function. Now let's pass that variable to function number, and let's then print that variable again to see if it is changed. Let's run this code, and as you can see, the value of the variable is changed, but it is because we passed value by reference. If I remove ampersand here and run this code, value won't change because I'm just passing value of that variable. I'm not passing reference of that variable. So in this case, it's just like you pass number 10 and its number 10 is increased by 5, but it has nothing to do with variable. When you pass value as reference, you also pass that variable. Let's return ampersand and let's try with some another number. For example, 95. It is 95 before passing it to the function and it is 100 after passing it to the function. Let's now talk about scope of the variables. When you declare variable inside certain function, it is called local variable because it is only available in that function. For example, this num variable is only available inside main function. If I want to use it in another function, I won't be able to do so. And if I declare here some variable and I want to use it in main function, I also won't be able to do so because local variables, as I said, are only available inside function where they are declared. If you want to declare variable that can be used in any function, you need to declare it globally, and those variables are called global variables. And you need to declare that variable outside of every function. I will declare here global variable called global number. And I will assign it value of 150. And now I can use it inside any function. I can use it here, and I can also use it here and in any function that I want. So this is that global number. And the last thing I'm going to cover in this video are header files. In header files, you can move all these functions that I declared and call it without having them here. So let's first create header file, new item, choose header file. I will call that header file my functions. Let's now move all these functions in header file. I also need to include IOStream header file and using namespace std, standard namespace. And let's now move in source CPP to use functions from my functions header file. I need to include it like this. And now I can use functions from my functions header file. Let's run this code. as you can see, the sum of those two numbers is 54. So in this case, code is much cleaner because I moved those functions in another header file and I just use them here. This is all for this video. If you like this video and want more videos like this, press like button and subscribe and see you next time.